There are nights when the world finally quiets down. No deadlines, no emails, no urgent things calling for your attention. You lie down, thinking, finally, I can rest. But 10 minutes later, your eyes are still open. You flip over, you try to breathe slowly, you adjust the pillow. Still, no sleep. You're tired, your body knows that. But your mind is still running, and you wonder, why is it so hard to rest, even when I have nothing left to give? So, we live in a time where rest feels like a luxury, where being exhausted has become a badge of honor, and where stopping, even for a little while, can feel like you're falling behind. It's not just that we have too much to do, it's that we've forgotten how to stop doing. Our minds, trained by constant noise, don't know what to do with silence. We mistake rest for laziness, stillness for weakness. So even when our bodies beg for sleep, our thoughts continue racing as if rest is something we have to earn. I remember that night clearly. After working nearly 48 hours straight, my body was on the verge of collapse. My eyes burned, my hands trembled. My thoughts were foggy, like walking through smoke. All I wanted was to crawl into bed and finally sleep. I turned off the lights, pulled the curtain, fluffed the pillow like always. As the blanket settled over me and I closed my eyes, I felt a moment of relief. But 5 minutes later, I was still awake. I shifted positions, curled up tighter, but my eyelids stung and sleep refused to come. Strangers, I started hearing my heartbeat, fast and uneven, not from excitement, but like a silent warning. I tried to breathe deeply, but my chest felt heavy. Then slowly, small thoughts trickled in. Did I send all the documents? Did I say something wrong in the meeting? What if I missed something important? I knew none of it was urgent, but my mind kept replaying the day, as if it needed to interrogate me before letting me rest. I picked up my phone. No new messages. Still, I opened app after app, not looking for anything specific, just trying to avoid lying there doing nothing. I wasn't awake enough to work, but not calm enough to sleep. I was stuck somewhere in between, completely exhausted, yet deeply unsettled. That's when I realized, rest doesn't happen just because you lie down. It happens when both your body and your mind believe that it's finally safe to let go. But if you've spent weeks, months, even years living in survival mode, chasing deadlines, goals, or approval, then even in the quietest room, your brain still hears an alarm in the distance. And how can you sleep with a siren going off inside your head? Maybe it's not time we're lacking. Maybe it's the permission to truly release. I used to think only people who overwork themselves can't rest. But then I talked to a friend who had just lost his job, and I realized the struggle is the same, no matter which side you're on. He told me, I've got all day to rest, but I still can't sleep. He wasn't swamped with deadlines. He didn't have calls waiting or emails piling up. But every night, his heart would race. He'd lie there in the dark, wide awake, as if something invisible was chasing him. He had no meetings, no schedule, no one was waiting for anything. But the pressure didn't go away. It just changed shape. It became that haunting question, what am I even doing with my life? And then there's me, always busy. My calendar is packed, meetings, emails, projects, follow-ups. I thought being productive would lead to peace, but it doesn't. I also lie awake at night. My mind still sorting through conversations, decisions, unfinished to-do lists. Even if everything's done, my brain doesn't know how to stop. And that's when it hit me. It doesn't matter if you're overworked or unemployed. If you're chasing tasks or have none at all, restlessness feels the same. Because exhaustion isn't always physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's the weight of expectation, the employed fear falling behind, The unemployed fear being forgotten. One runs from burnout, the other drowns in uncertainty, but both lie in bed with the same restlessness in their chest. Both replay the same silent questions. Both wonder if they're still enough. We often say, just take a break, slow down. But true rest needs something more difficult than time. It needs the belief that you don't have to prove your worth to deserve peace. And in this world, that belief is harder to come by than sleep. I used to believe once the work was done, my brain would finally switch off. But that's not how it works. Some nights, I lie in bed. No deadlines, no messages, no one waiting for anything. And yet, I can't fall asleep. My body is ready, but my mind keeps ticking, like a fan that won't stop spinning even after you unplug it. I think about things that don't even matter. Did I say something weird earlier? Should I have worded that email differently? Will tomorrow be worse than today? It's not about the work anymore. It's about a feeling, like someone's watching even when no one is. No one's telling me to keep going, but I still feel the need to look like I'm doing something, to prove I'm okay, to not fall behind. Every time I go online, someone's gotten a new job, bought a house, started a business, posted a shiny update, and I'm still here, even though I have a stable job. I feel like I'm constantly being chased by the thought that I should be further ahead. Meanwhile, a friend of mine who's unemployed can't sleep either. Not because he's too busy, but because he feels like he's floating, like life is moving on without him. Me, running at full speed. Him, standing still. But both of us carry the same thing, a mind that doesn't know how to rest. Science has a word for this, hyperarousal. It means your brain stays alert, even when the world around you is calm. It happens when you've lived under pressure for so long, your mind stops trusting peace. You've been bracing for something to go wrong for so long, you don't know how to feel safe anymore. So even when everything's fine, your brain still runs simulations. What if something happens? Am I falling behind? Should I be doing more? It's not because you're weak. It's because your mind has learned to survive this way. That's why, some nights, even in a quiet room with your phone off and your eyes closed, you still can't rest. Because your mind doesn't need silence. It needs permission to stop running. There were times I thought, if I could just take a long break, go somewhere quiet, turn off all notifications, leave the calendar empty, I'd probably sleep for 3 days straight. But now I know. Real recovery doesn't start with silence around you. It starts with something quieter, inside. I have a friend who took time off after quitting a high-stress job. People told him, "You're so lucky, you get to lie around all day." But he said, "I lie here and feel like I'm tied up." Every time he picked up his phone, someone was posting about new goals, promotions, busy schedules. And there he was, just trying to remember how to breathe. Outwardly, he was resting, but inside, it felt like falling behind, like missing some invisible race, like the world was moving forward without him. Meanwhile, I, still working, still functioning, sometimes envied him. At least he had permission to pause. I didn't know how to stop, because if I stopped, who would finish the job? Who would keep things moving? Who would carry the weight? And that's when I realized, not everyone is tired because of work. Some are tired from always comparing. Some are tired from pushing themselves to level up. Some are tired from carrying expectations for so long, they no longer remember what they truly want. You could be anywhere, in a bustling city, a quiet bedroom, or at the peak of your career. But if your mind doesn't believe this one simple truth, it's okay to slow down. You don't need to apologize for resting. Then real recovery hasn't started yet. There is no single way to rest. Some people need a trip. Some need a hug. Some need space to be honest without fear. Some just want to sit quietly, without guilt. But all of us, deep down, need the same thing: a place inside ourselves where we're no longer being chased. If you've made it this far, thank you, truly. Maybe you didn't come here looking for answers. Maybe you just needed a moment to feel understood. And if somewhere in all these quiet words, something in you softened, then I hope you'll stay a little longer. There are more stories to come, more soft questions, more spaces to just breathe. So if this felt like a place you'd return to, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.